there's a part of me that still just doesn't believe it. Like, that can't believe that this is actually how it is, that by not doing, even more stuff happens than when I actually am intending and planning and trying to do stuff. Hey friend, welcome to Live at Your Edge. How you doing? I'm checking in from this tiny home property where I'm staying for a couple nights. Just kind of trying to get away for a couple days and restore myself. And the lighting is not great here, so forgive me for that. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it's just not, and I've just come to peace with it. I've tried a million things to try to get it better. I've tried my lighting panel, I've tried everything, and I just really want to sit outside. And the truth is, there's just no ideal lighting, so it is what it is. But so this retreat is just like me renting a little property on Airbnb for 2 nights, and this is something I started doing after I became a mom. And the first couple years of taking care of a baby and toddler were, obviously really demanding. And I am an introvert, I am an empath, I am a deeply, highly sensitive person. And I really, for me, having time to myself where I'm not interacting with anybody else, right, is so essential for me. I'm restored by that time. And one of the things that happens when you have a child is that one thing that happens is all this incredible love and light just comes bursting into your life, and it is the most magical thing. And the demand on one's energy and time is just so high. And especially in the first couple of years of my daughter's life, we lived in a different state and we did not live near family. And so the support network we had was really, really lacking. So that is actually why we moved, to be near family. And so things are a lot better now, a lot easier in many ways. And, my daughter's older too, but it put this kind of pressure on me that forced me to recognize that I have to have this kind of time. So what I've discovered is that I can sustain without leaving. I can sustain myself to an extent. Because I'll get these chunks of a few hours a day sometimes. Just when my daughter's at school or, with her grandparents or something like that. But what ends up happening over time is that my internal state just deteriorates. And it's not like I can't live like that. I have lived like that for years and have told myself I'm fine, I can keep going, I'm fine, because I'm not literally dying, I am fine, quote unquote. But the quality of my life, my ability to regulate myself emotionally, the quality of my consciousness, it just slowly, I want to use the word deteriorates. That sounds very negative, but it just sort of declines. You get it. I was noticing how dysregulated my nervous system has been lately. I've spent so much time in my life focused on nervous system regulation because I have lived with a dysregulated nervous system for so long. And for myself, I've ended up with a couple of chronic health issues that really were very severe in their worst states. Adrenal fatigue for a while, and dysautonomia was the more recent one. Both nervous system disorders, essentially. They're caused by a chronically dysregulated nervous system, which is exactly how my life has been, how I have been for years. So as a result of those experiences, which were very debilitating, there were periods during the worst of those illnesses where I could really, truly barely function at all. And those illnesses, because of their severity, really forced me to get so serious about learning how to regulate my nervous system. And I tried out all of these different mechanisms, like all these different practices, all these different things to find out what my system needed, what I really needed. And that's honestly still a work in progress. I have learned a huge amount and I am so much better, but it is constantly a work in progress. I've been noticing lately my system just feels so dysregulated, and the quality of my internal mental space, of my consciousness, has just gotten so, it feels very fragmented and not present, even though I'm a person who really values being present. But it's like there are these habits, because for me, in my mind, there are these different layers to healing the nervous system, right? And the deepest layers are things like healing trauma, right? Like healing the things that initially created a state in our nervous system that was rewired based on a sense that we were not safe. So rewiring through nervous system repair and trauma healing is, to me, one of the deeper layers, right? There are energetic layers too. Sometimes working through past life material is really important. So those are the deeper layers in my mind now, at least. And then there are some of these more surface layers, but they're not any less important just because they're more surface, or I don't know if that's the right word, but I think of them as like, if you only worked on the mental layer, you'd still be missing these deeper layers. But the mental layer, the mindset piece, is still important. And for me, that's the piece that feels like it's really been deteriorating lately. I will kind of get into these states of like lots of future planning, right? Like looking at my calendar, like always looking ahead to what's coming, doing lots of planning, lots of preparing, lots of like projecting my mind into the future to create, to like get all the things in a row, right? And it's this constant aiming for my goals, looking to where I want to go. So here's the steps I need to take. It's like a very future focused consciousness. And you know what that does? It's not now focused. It's not present focused. It's actually taking me out of the now. And it's reminded me, so like one of my favorite teachers that I know I've told you about before is Kyle Cease. And he's someone I learned about from Lauren, my sister, who was co-host with me on the podcast in season 1. He's a wonderful teacher. And one of the things I think he's the strongest at is this mindset piece. He does also teach some trauma healing and deeper layer stuff. But he is so good at like transmitting through his teaching and through his consciousness this state of being that is so present in now, what he calls the now. When I listen to him, I feel like it really helps my mind clear all this other stuff away. It really supports me to listen to him periodically, to like help my mindset frame around this presentness, and my whole system, my whole nervous system calms down. He's one of the teachers that's really helped me in sort of discovering a healthier relationship to meditation that serves me better, because I have always found that the way a lot of teachers talk about meditation, it just ends up feeling like such a chore. Do you know what I mean? He just breathes so much life into it. And now I personally think about it a little bit differently. One of the things that helps me is actually not to frame it as meditation, but to frame it as something that feels juicy to me. Like, instead of meditating, I'm merging with the field. I'm tuning into the field or the space. I'm connecting with God. I'm listening to God. I'm connecting with the divine, right? Whatever language. But I've just found that my relationship to it has changed so much. Now, that still doesn't mean I do it all the time. I don't. I think we have to go through this as humans. This is just my personal belief. I have no idea. Maybe it's bullshit, but I think that sometimes we have to go through these cycles where we go into something and out of something. In our culture, people talk about that as like, oh, I fell off the wagon. I'm not meditating anymore. I should get back to that. I'm supposed to do that. But like, what if we just need to go through these cycles where we're meditating for a while and then we're not, and then we notice, oh my God, the quality of my mental space is so chaotic and fragmented, and I feel like dysregulated and crappy. Oh my gosh, I haven't been meditating. Wow, maybe I need to spend more time just being with the space, with the field, with God. You know, like, I think it's actually really beautiful, and I think it's too bad actually that we beat ourselves up so hard for it, because it's like literally how we learn is just making quote unquote mistakes. The word mistakes is so negative. Like, by just doing stuff. We just learn by doing stuff, you know? So, I've been finding that just being here, these longer little chunks, like having a day and a half to myself, spending some time listening to the field, and just being in a space where I don't have an imminent obligation or like thing that's gonna happen, where I have like an entire day plus, where I can literally not even look at the clock because it doesn't matter what time it is. I can just kind of like merge with space and time. It's always so funny because like when I first arrive at a space like this, which is not very often, like I'll just be honest, I don't do this often enough. I do this at most every like 6 months or a year, and I really would love, I'm learning that what would really support me is to do something like this every 2 or 3 months. And my intention at this point is really to do that, because I think I'm finally at a place where I actually feel comfortable asking for that much time. And I know that sounds like, I know how that sounds, but when you have a little kid, it is hard to leave. You know, my daughter and I have like a really close bond, and it's hard for me to leave her. It's really hard for her to say goodbye to me. Like, I think it's good for us to do it because it's good for me, you know, like, and so as a result, it's in everyone's highest good. And it's good for her too, I think, to learn that I'll leave and she's okay. Like, she's okay with the rest of our family, and I always come back. You know, I think these are really important things for both of us, for all of us, right, to learn. So I am going to do this more, but I was saying that I find it so funny actually just watching myself, because when I first come out to something like this, I like come rushing in there, like, you know, I rush to pack. Like, I usually never leave enough time to prepare. That's another pattern of mine, right? Like, this is sort of avoidant kind of thing I'll do sometimes about stuff that stresses me out. I have some avoidance patterns that I'm always looking to learn from, right? But I'll like pack and I'm frazzled. I'm like trying to go to the grocery and like get to the place and check in, and then I like come in and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna spend my time? Like, I'm bringing all my energy from my life and the way I'm used to living, this sort of planful, like goal-oriented version of me. And then I show up in the space, and thankfully I'm aware enough of my patterns that I'll always be holding them with a tiny bit of this awareness that like, okay, yes, but also don't hold anything too tightly. You're here to rest. Like, Ashley, you're here to rest and just be. You don't have to do anything on this retreat. And so as I bring that intention, and then I just exist in this cabin where there's like no chores to do. There's nothing to do, right? There's a TV, which I never turn on because I hate TV. I have my laptop and stuff, but I just bring the intention to like rest, because usually by the time I come on these things, I'm pretty exhausted. And what's so interesting is that like as the first half day or so goes by, there's sort of this state change that happens. The space itself, like the literal cabin, and the nature around it and the just lack of things to do works on me. And it's like this calibration starts happening where I calibrate to the energy of the new space I'm in. And my system kind of slowly starts to come out of this just rote, conditioned state. And then, of course, like sometimes a lot of fatigue sets in, right? Like I'm like, oh my God, I'm even more exhausted than I realized. Sometimes a lot of juice comes in, like a lot of inspiration. One of the things that amazes me about this experience is like when I literally set the intention to just rest. Oh, I'm just gonna meditate and make my food and be outside and just like do nothing. That is sometimes when the most inspiration, the most inspired ideas, the most exciting new things come in. And it's just like, it's so funny because I've been hearing teachers, like, have you been hearing this? I've been hearing teachers talk about this forever. Teachers are always like, yeah, it's through meditation and the not doing that, like the natural unfolding of our true selves and our inspired ideas come through. Like I've been hearing people say that shit for years, and yet every time I do this, it still fucking shocks me. It just shocks me. I like, the part of me still honestly doesn't even believe it, even though I've been hearing it for years. There's a part of me that still just doesn't believe it. Like, that can't believe that this is actually how it is, that by not doing, even more stuff happens than when I actually am intending and planning and trying to do stuff. It's the most humbling thing. It's like, wow, I have this belief that my efforting everything, planning everything is what's going to get shit done, is what's going to make my life move forward. And it's like a load of shit. It's not even true. And I'm so thankful to have the chance to have that kind of thrown in my face. This truth thrown in my face that like, nope. Less trying, more being is actually how it happens. It just happens because of the divine forces in this world. Inspiration comes in through rest, being rested and peaceful, and like it makes me want to almost cry. It's so beautiful. It like makes me choke up because it's such a relief to realize that actually just by being, we're like the most magical versions of ourselves that we could ever be. We've all been so trained and taught that we have to plan and effort and push, right? It's like so deeply ingrained that part of me still believes that. Part of me still does. I to this day. And I just love having this other truth, like just like it's like thrown in my face. This is such a beautiful time of day. It's like, I don't know, 4:30, something like that p.m. And even though the light is a little dark, so peaceful out here. You can see the woods behind me, right? It's just, it's really beautiful. Let me show you a little bit more. It's, look at that, yeah. It's just, I don't know, sort of like tucked away in like a random little neighborhood, but it's amazing. You know, I love areas that are like really remote, but I don't always have the chance to like drive out to one. So it's amazing how like these little patches that exist can still be so restorative, even though like, you know, I can still hear the highway over there, and you know, I'm very sensitive to noise, so all those things still like very much permeate my consciousness. It's not as restful, but it is still wonderful. So that's what's up with me. I just want to wish you a wonderful week wherever you are, whatever you're moving through, whatever things are coming up for you, and I want to just send a lot of spaciousness and love to you in whatever you're in. I think we're all going through so much transformation right now. This is a year, a time, an era of so much change, and there's so much chaos in the outer world, and yet we still have agency, right, in our own lives, our own inner worlds. We don't have control over everything, but we still have agency. So wherever you are, I'm sending you so much love, and I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.